What's going on, guys? It's the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast. My name's Devin Hood, here with Gib, Burke, and Tyler. We're going to recap some Kentucky basketball that happened today. We didn't get this podcast out on Friday, so we weren't able to give a prediction for the game. Probably a good thing that we didn't. I think we all would have predicted wrong, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. But, from what we've seen, Cats played pretty well. Just weren't good enough to kind of hold up their end of the deal in the end of that game. Tyler and myself had some prior obligations today, so we unfortunately didn't get to watch the game. So we're going to have Gib and Burke here give us kind of the recap, the breakdown of that loss against Alabama today at noon. Burke, what do you think happened with the Cats?
I think it was just an all-around shootout. You know, we just happened to come out at the wrong end of it. Alabama is a scoring machine, kind of like we are. It's just one of those days where they outscored us. You know, not much you can say about that. I thought we played decently well. Hit some big shots in the first half. Just couldn't really transition those big shots into the second half. It kind of turned into a game where Kentucky was just trying to take their man off the dribble. And like you said, Devin, we're not really the team that's built for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. There's been times this season, probably in all three of the losses that I've seen, four that happened today, where, if we get into a hero ball type mentality, we're going to go down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this team's just not made to take a man one-on-one like a traditional, Cal team.
Yeah.
That is, kind of hate to say it. This team works really well together.
Yeah.
But they have to be operating on all cylinders for that to happen.
Something else that kind of hurt us, too, we kind of dealt with some foul trouble with a few guys. I know Derek Carr left with like 7 minutes in the first half with 3 fouls. I know
Andrew Carr.
That's what I meant. Yeah. What did I say?
Derek Carr playing ball.
Yeah, not Derek Carr. Andrew Carr.
Yeah. We were watching football earlier.
Yeah, got football in the brain.
Yeah.
I know Robson kind of had some foul trouble, and I know Owe had some foul trouble, and he actually wound up fouling out with like a minute and a half left in the fourth quarter, or second half, I mean. I'm all scatterbrained tonight.
We had 2 foul outs.
We had 2 foul outs. Williams, too.
Williams and Owe.
Yeah.
Oh, take Owe fouled out?
You did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They was both very late in the game with like less than a minute left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which, Gibby may be able to give us an insight on this as well. Otega Owe did have a pretty good game today, though, right?
I think he had 21 points.
Yeah, he did. He played exceptionally well, getting his 6 rebounds, 30 assists. Like, he did what we needed him to do, yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying. I thought we played decently well. We just couldn't come out on top. They shot the ball better than we did. I think they hit 13 or 14 threes, and we only hit 11, and we lost by what?
5 points.
5 points. So there you go. I mean,
well, there's one thing you guys said earlier, before we started this. The better team won today.
Yeah.
There is a reason Alabama's ranked 4th in the country as of right now. That's a high-quality team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to get the win against them today, even though it was in Rupp Arena, that's a win that you're going to feel really good about.
Yeah. You hate to lose that kind of game, but in the long run, it's not going to hurt you as bad as some people would think. We're still got a very high shot being a high seed in the tournament. We still got a chance to be one of the top 4 teams coming out of the SEC, and that will help with our tournament seeding, about the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Gib, you got stats pulled up?
I do. What do you need?
How did Kobe Brea shoot today?
4 for 7 from the field, 2 for 3 from beyond the arc, finishing with 10 points. We had 7 guys in the double digits.
Okay.
So we were moving the ball around. Everybody was sharing the love. We were scoring well, just not well enough.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, like you said, we scored 97 points. Alabama scores 102. These are the top 2 scoring offenses in the country, Alabama being 1, us being number 2. Not very often are you going to score 97 points and come out on the losing side of that game.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Kobe Brea only getting 2 for 3 from 3. I know we talked earlier. You said they, had a really good game plan drawn up for covering him on that 3-point line, right?
Yeah, because he just doesn't do the greatest job making his own separation. He can get separated off the ball screens or off ball screens, and he can get open for a quick shoot. But if he has to have it and dribble to get open,
it's not happening.
It's not happening very often.
And you look at Alabama, you look at Mark Sears, he is so good at creating his own shot. He doesn't really have to rely on his teammates to kind of get him open. He just does it himself.
Yeah. That is one thing that, we've all noticed about Kobe Brea this year. people have talked about it. If he gets that ball, let's just say, he's coming off a high screen and his guy stays on his hip, he's not shooting that ball.
Right.
He's not getting any separation on his own.
Exactly.
He's passing out of that. He may try to drive in. He may get to about the free throw line, but he's not getting separation enough to take a shot.
And I think kind of late in the second half, on the offensive side, we ran some offense that kind of almost made it seem that we weren't getting the shots that we were wanting. We were just kind of settling for either a halfway decent shot or a bad shot, really.
Which they definitely defended us well on the 3-point line.
They did.
They made us drive in. We were getting a lot more points in the paint, something we don't see as much.
Yeah.
So we were trading twos for threes, how teams normally play us.
Right.
And then to get dug into a hole, we ended up digging ourselves into the same hole. We know how it feels on the other side now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, too, this brings Kentucky's win streak against top 15 teams to an end. That was one that they kept alive, a lot longer than anybody thought coming into this season. So, that's definitely something to, pat yourself on the back about, feel pretty accomplished. We're not here for moral victories, but you got to take them as they come. Right?
You got to look at the bright side of things.
What is the bright side of things there, Bert?
Well, it's only 5-1. We still got a long season. Still got some chances to get some big wins.
And we did have 5 guys in foul trouble. 3 guys finished with 4 fouls. The 2 that we talked about already that fouled out. So we were testing the limits of our bench towards the end, and we still kept it. Yes, we lost, but we kept it within at least a manageable couple points.
Right. Well, that was one thing too. I'm glad you said. It seems like bench play has really improved.
Yes.
Since we started SEC play.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, that was one thing that was very concerning, is when those starters go out and the bench guys come in, we weren't seeing production out of them that was well enough to keep us in games. I think that was a big reason we lost the Clemson game.
Mm-hmm.
Is because, Lamont Butler goes out, Kirk Risa was he was still available.
He's still available, yep.
Yep, Kirk Risa comes in, Travis Perry's playing a little bit, and they just didn't have the ability to keep us in the game. And then, whenever they went out, a 2 or 3 point deficit quickly turned into 8 or 10.
Right.
Or, our starters in the Clemson game had a big 9-0 run. We were feeling pretty good. The crowd was out of it. We bring the bench in. Clemson quickly goes on a 8-0 run of their own, brings it back, and gets within striking distance of that.
And you look at a guy like Travis Perry. I was one of his biggest critics coming in the season. I didn't think he had the confidence or the skill to be out there with the talent he was playing with. But ever since SEC play started, he's kind of he's turned it on. He's not scared to shoot the ball. It don't seem like he's just timid to be out there. He's really become an asset, if you will, to the bench.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. He looks like he's ready to go out and play college football or basketball now.
Yeah.
Another guy that I'd like to see, eventually work their way into that rotation would be Trent Noah.
Yeah.
He's not scared to shoot.
He is not scared to shoot, and I love that about him.
Obviously that play just isn't there for him to get any, quality minutes as of yet. But whenever that time comes, he's going to be a guy that's going to have his own green light for sure.
If him, Perry, and Chandler were to stay all 4 years, they could turn out to be something real special. 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah. That's one thing, too. Now that Travis Perry is gaining some confidence, you got to assume him and Trent Noah, both being from Kentucky, big buddies, they're talking it up in the locker room. I don't think we have any fear of them transferring out.
No.
And that was one thing, under the previous coach, they're not coming back.
Yeah. You never expected anybody to come back.
No, but especially, if it's a guy off the bench like that, you see the flashes, you see the potential, he's not coming back for a sophomore season.
Right, yeah.
Especially with this NIL money flying around. You get someone that, hey, they're a lethal enough shooter. They can, possibly help impact your offense a little bit more. Teams will be looking for that. That'll be definitely like, hey, come here. Here's a few extra bucks. Like, we want your shooting ability. Yeah,
no doubt. So, with that being said, obviously taking the loss to Alabama today, how do you all feel? What's the outlook on the rest of the season, and especially the SEC slate?
Honestly, I'm not too worried about a whole lot of anything because it let us, we still played very well, even though we were trailing the majority of the second half. We were still in there, we were still dogfighting. We never got discouraged. We never saw our guys just hanging their heads down if they missed a shot or made a questionable foul. Like, they were still out there. They were trying to win. They were playing their hearts out. And, like, that's what you want to see, even though we didn't come out victorious. Like,
something I see is that the ACC is just so difficult this year. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for teams to move up and down the rankings. So, that number 1, number 2 spot is still up for grabs at this point. A lot can happen between now and the end of February. So, I don't think there's any need to be discouraged.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And talking about that number 1 spot, we've seen South Carolina take Auburn to the final buzzer today.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tight game. Vanderbilt beats Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, the SEC at this point is coming wide open.
Yes.
They're at the top of the pack for
yes.
sure. One thing too, talk about the outlook of the SEC. What are some of our scores tonight that we got going on? Like I said, we already mentioned Vanderbilt beating Tennessee, South Carolina taking Auburn to the buzzer. How's things looking down in Fayetteville?
Fayetteville, let's see.
45 is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gathering. I had tuned in for a little bit there earlier, and they was down, I think, almost 20 was what it looked like.
Yeah, I think it ended up being about an 18-point loss, maybe.
Oh, did it? I'm trying to find the score right now. I can't seem to find it. But yeah, there's been actually a few upsets all around college basketball today.
Yeah, it was an 18-point loss, 83-65.
83-65.
So 0-5. Not a good start to the Calipari.
Now, was that game played in Missouri?
it was in Missouri.
Yes.
Which, home court advantage, we're going to give you a few points there, but 83-65?
A little bit more in the home court.
That's more than a home court advantage. That's just bad basketball. Right?
Not looking good for Calipari right now.
No.
Do you also?
Which, surprisingly, their field goal percentage was 44 from the field overall.
Really? What they shoot from 3, Gib?
21%. 5 for 23.
Good Lord. They're jacking them
I've
up.
read that movie before, or book before.
Yeah, we've seen it.
And 4 for 8 from free throws, which wasn't a lot of free throws taken, but 50% from the charity stripe shouldn't be acceptable.
How is a Cal team only shooting 8 free throws?
Blows my mind.
I mean,
Blows my mind.
I've not watched much Arkansas basketball this year, for obvious reasons. It's not been good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the few times I have tuned in and seen, Boogie Flan seems to be a guy that, hey, he can take his man one-on-one and get to the rack, right?
Yeah, he's someone that can put you in foul trouble.
If they don't have Boogie Flan, that team may not have the wins they have.
Yeah. What is their record right now? 11-6.
It's not good. I know that.
Whatever it is.
11-7.
11-7. They don't have Boogie Flan.
They might be 500, below 500.
Yeah, they're staring at a very, very bad record in the non-conference.
What do y'all think Calipari's future is looking like down in Arkansas? You think he calls it quits after this year? Do you think he's thinking, oh, it's just a fluke this year, I'll get him back next year? What are y'all thinking?
That's it. He's probably got 2 years there, and I think it'll probably be over with.
What do you think, Gib?
I feel like Cal comes with, what's it called? There's just a different level with him. Like, I feel like a team will put up with it a little bit longer being such a high-level coach. Yeah, you don't have the best year, but there's always that bounce back year. So I feel like they'll hold him for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I'll tell you what my concern is. I just really feel, what are we looking at here, Gib?
Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Ooh. So currently 34 seconds left in this game. Mississippi State up 73-71. They have the ball going down the court. That'll be one to keep an eye on. Ole Miss was looking like a powerhouse in the SEC, and they're going to lose on the road if this holds true to Mississippi State. That just shows you how wide open the SEC is.
Anything can happen, honestly.
Yeah, anything can happen. But back to Cal. My concern for that is, what if he comes back next year? What if they do the same thing? At what point does his desire to, hey, I have one more in me, I feel it? When does that just not happen?
I think at that point,
He's going to end up, tarnishing the legacy he
Yeah.
has if you have multiple seasons like the one he's having now.
he's already in the Hall of Fame. I feel like at that point, if he has another losing season next year, I feel like you just got to cut your losses and move on. Maybe call it quits or move on somewhere else. But if it were me and I was Calipari, I'd probably, if the situation is similar next year, I think I'm calling it quits after that.
Yeah. Do they make the tournament this year?
No way they make the tournament. Unless they win out from here, which I don't think that's going to happen, they are not making the tournament.
No, I mean, this game to me tonight for them against Missouri felt like a must-win.
Yeah.
I mean, even more than the LSU game.
Right.
This one felt like, hey, you have to come in and get a win. Because, their slate's not getting any easier.
Right.
Yeah, they have Georgia next.
Georgia, good basketball team.
They do get Oklahoma at home. That's probably a winnable game.
But Oklahoma just beat South Carolina today by 20.
Yeah, that's very true.
I think Oklahoma was the second worst team in the SEC, weren't they? They think they were
second or third.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Then they come to Lex.
I'm going to go ahead and say it here on January, 19th, 18th?
18th.
That's a game Calipari could come in and win.
I hope he doesn't.
Sure. I hope and pray to God he doesn't, but that's the most Calipari thing. Be 0-9 in conference or whatever it would be at that point. Come into Lexington and beat Kentucky.
That one's
And
going
then, could you imagine the press conference? He's got that look on his face and he's just,
You see what
I did?
You see what I did? You see what I did?
I told you we'd get it figured out. And then doesn't win another game, but they have that one. So if that happens, wouldn't be surprised in the least.
That one's going to sting if that comes to fruition.
Yeah. Which, speaking of when Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks come back to Lexington, Tyler is pretty active on social media. I know Gibb and Burke, you're not as much, but does the name John Neighbors ring any bells for anybody in here?
What a clown.
Burke, you know who John Neighbors is?
I got some idea of who he is.
I live
Yeah,
under
you
a rock. I don't know.
So this guy, back whenever they got Cal during the summer, he's going around a pep rally?
It was the preseason game exhibition they had with Kansas.
He's going around asking Arkansas students, what do you want to tell Kentucky fans? They're all complaining that, they took John Calipari away. What's your message to Kentucky fans? And of course, they're 19, 20-year-old college students, so, they give, all kinds of reasons as to why we suck and, we should suck it up and all other, words we don't need to say on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
But, this is a guy that, has a fairly big platform.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's going around and
forehead.
Yeah.
Big forehead.
And, he's essentially been clowning on Kentucky the entire offseason, getting to the non-conference slate. He's still riding high with Cal and getting into this SEC slate that they've had. And he's put out a video not too long ago. Maybe Kentucky fans were right.
You think?
Yeah.
You think?
We weren't just saying the things we were saying for fun.
Yeah. Did they not believe? The proof is there.
Yeah.
First round loss last year. Second round loss year before that, another first round loss. We weren't making it up.
Yeah, we didn't want the Calipari from 2009 to 2016 gone.
No, we didn't. We liked that Calipari.
Yeah, it was the Calipari from 2017 till now.
Yeah, that's the one we kind of had
It's the
issues
Calipari
with.
that you all are getting.
Yeah, the old Calipari is gone. He's not coming back.
No, and they were talking to yesterday, I believe, on KSR. The assistant coaches that he has around him aren't conducive to a winning environment. The Mississippi or the Texas A&M game, the guy that we seen on the sideline that looked like
English professor.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders from the Waterboy.
Yeah.
He looked like that guy. He was on Cal's first staff.
Back in Memphis.
At Memphis, yeah. And, he's an X's and O's guy. We've seen it. They're calling up plays for missed free throws.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have anybody that's calling plays on his staff now.
No, he's got Bruiser Flint over there chewing gum and Chin Coleman looking at the sky not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Chin Coleman is reminiscent on Ruby's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a coaching staff that's looking to get you wins in the league.
I feel like those are guys, the guys that Calipari brought with him to Arkansas are guys that really had no other choice. They couldn't go anywhere because, look at Kenny Payne at Louisville. What was it, 8 wins in 2 seasons? Is that right, Austin?
12 wins.
12 wins in 2 seasons.
12 and 58.
With losses to what? Kentucky Wesleyan? Bellarmine. Did y'all lose to EKU at some point in that?
We did.
Yeah, Kenny Payne was not going anywhere. He got fired from his school.
Yeah.
And then, Cal welcomes him back with open arms. The coaching staffs that he had at Memphis and Kentucky, and I'll even say UMass going back, oh man. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, 74-74 going into the first set of overtime.
Oh, wow.
The SEC, man.
Gauntlet.
Oh,
It's a gauntlet.
Yeah. But anyway, so like I was saying, the coaching staffs that he had that were, creating these X's and O's environments on top of his recruiting, that's where you got these powerhouse teams that were able to make the deep runs in the tournament that he did at Memphis and UMass and Kentucky. That's just not what he has.
It's not. It's not.
I'm not very optimistic about the future of John Calipari coaching basketball.
He
It's
doesn't.
not even Arkansas. I don't think he coaches basketball much longer.
He doesn't have that X's and O's guys like he did at Kentucky with John Robick.
John Robick was his.
He was a genius at X's and O's. I mean, you listen to him talk about how offensive run. He sounded just like an Einstein when it comes to it.
Yeah.
He just ain't got that guy down there.
Nope. He's got people that are going to say, what do you want to do, coach?
Yeah.
And as soon as he says something, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We love it.
I want to say, do we see a new version of Cal emerge next season where he does have that mentality possibly of calling
Calipari
plays and setting things up?
I think this was his year to do that. I think the breakup from Kentucky, I think this was his year to go to a new school, reinvent himself. KSR said it over the summer, before the season started. It's like getting divorced. You start going to the gym, you get a new job, you get in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're hanging out with your old ex-girlfriend from high school, and things are looking up. Kentucky has kind of taken that path. We get Mark Pope. The X's and O's are working, the recruiting's working. But then Cal, he didn't get in shape. He didn't get a new car. He's still hanging out with his old buddies at the bar drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And things just aren't getting better. I think this year would have been the year for him to reinvent himself, come in and make a splash. And since it didn't happen this year, I don't think it's happening next year. And at some point, I really start to worry, or not necessarily worry because it's not affecting Kentucky anymore. When does his recruiting start to drop off?
You got to see that happening somewhat soon. When you go to a living room and you say, "Yeah, we beat who they beat? We beat Michigan this year, but we started the ACC 0-5. Why don't you come to Arkansas and see if we can make that better?"
Yeah,
that's just not a good sales pitch.
Like Boogie Fland, he's going to be a first-round draft pick
for sure.
But I just don't feel like we've had the same hype around Boogie Fland at Arkansas that he would have got at Kentucky.
No.
I don't know exactly how his play's been this season. He's obviously their best player. But I feel like, national media, we're not hearing about Boogie Fland as much as we would if he was in Kentucky this year.
Do you think Mark Pope goes after a guy like Boogie Fland? Does he match with his offense, or does he just kind of overlook him? I don't think he does either. No, I think,
Mark Pope has his kind of guys that he wants to reach out and get, and I don't think it's a very ball-dominant, I have to have the ball in my hand and make a play kind of guy.
Right, yeah. He wants a team guy that can work with the team and get wins instead of just, trying to do it all himself.
Yeah.
That selfless extra pass guy, not I got this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think Tyler Eulis would have been a really good fit in a Mark Pope system.
Oh, for sure.
Because, he was a facilitating point guard that could score, but didn't have to have the ball in his hands to make an impact.
He didn't have to have 25 points every night.
He didn't, no.
But he could go out and drop it.
He could. Yeah,
if you needed it, he could go get it. I think, Otega Owe and Lamont Butler are kind of a mix of that.
Yeah.
There is times where if you need a point, those guys can go get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to kind of see more of that come with Mark Pope's recruiting abilities, is getting guys that are looking to facilitate, fit in the system, but also have a mix of, hey, I can go get a basket if we need to, but that's not the only thing I can do.
You gotta feel sorry for poor old Brad Calipari. His dad brings him on down there. He's trying to get him started in his own coaching career, and if anything, he's hurting it more than he's helping it.
Yeah. Have y'all seen Brad Calipari on Arkansas bench this year?
A
he looks like
colorful collection of turtlenecks.
He looks like he goes to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Like he should be in Draco Malfoy's little clan in the Half-Blood Prince when they're starting to wear the black suits and the turtlenecks. He looks like he just fit right in.
But yeah, going back to Cal staff, he just doesn't have that guy, that X's and O's guy like he did with John Robick that can, kind of push him like, hey, coach, maybe we shouldn't be running this kind of offense. Maybe we need to switch over to this. It's just he ain't got that one guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I was talking about the recruiting, the transfer portal is a huge thing right now. It's going to be for the next forever, obviously.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. And if you're a high-profile recruit coming out of the transfer portal, I don't think you're looking at a John Calipari-led team, whether that's Arkansas or wherever else.
Right.
Because look at what he's done this year with John L. Davis. That was a Final Four guy at FAU.
The number one prospect in the transfer portal.
He was their lead guy at FAU.
Yeah.
He goes to Arkansas. I mean, he's been MIA.
He's like a deer in headlights.
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks awful.
Big Z's averaging 3 minutes a game now. He's basically bench Big Z.
I'm glad you bring him up. Would we welcome Big Z back in open arms?
Oh yeah.
I think we would. I think he would flourish in a Mark Pope offense.
Yeah.
Him and Anthony Bradshaw. Well, of course, I don't see Anthony Bradshaw coming back, but I feel like Big Z would just thrive in Pope's offense.
Yeah. Yeah, a big guy that can step out, shoot the three.
Big guy, yeah.
Yeah, I think Big Z would be a similar to Andrew Carr,
Yeah.
but maybe a little bit better of a shooter. Less of an inside presence than Andrew
And
Carr has.
he's a really good passer too. He can be that facilitator, get the ball moving.
Yeah, because I mean that's one thing we've seen all season is Mark Pope likes to initiate offense at the top with the center.
He does. He does.
Does it with Amari Williams and Brandon Garrison.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter which one of those guys are in there.
Yep.
He's still starting that offense like that.
I would say, do you think Big Z has that court vision to be able to set up there and facilitate like that, or do you think it would just be more of the handoffs, or do you think it would be actually kicking the ball over to an open guy or getting that little dribble to get a double team, find that open guy?
What do you think, Tyler?
Kind of zoned out there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Do you think Big Z has the vision to make those passes like Amari Williams does, or is he more of just like a screen handoff type player?
We've seen some flashes of him being able to pass the ball. I think he could. I do think he would flourish in Mark Pope's offense, especially with his ability to drive. Like when you got a big guy that can stretch the floor and drive in an offense like that, it's extremely dangerous.
I mean, we kind of saw it last year. You remember I think it was the Georgia game. He had that one behind the back pass to Antonio Reeves, probably the loudest pop I've ever heard in Rupp Arena.
Yeah.
I feel like with some coaching and with Mark Pope's guidance, he could be that facilitator, make those passes, set those screens, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he could be a dog for sure.
Yes. With the right coach, he could. And Cal Perry is not the right coach.
No, I mean, like you said, he's, at this point, I mean, I would say killed all confidence that he has.
Oh, yeah.
6 minutes a game, 5 minutes a game,
Like,
off the bench.
you have no idea the effect that puts on a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm not good enough to play here anymore. I may not be good enough to play anywhere else.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have to live in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah. Yep.
Double whammy.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Poor Z.
But yeah, so anyway, back to John Neighbors. He's actually coming up to Lexington, February 1st. He's going to be at KSR.
He'd be there Thursday and Friday, won't he?
I believe so. What kind of reaction does this guy? I mean, because he is becoming very well known with Kentucky fans. I think. I mean,
I don't know what he's thinking. That's going to be a good idea to go to KS Bar and Grill and do his show. He's going to get dogged so hard by Kentucky fans when he does his show there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not a call for violence.
No.
Leave that out of it. Don't don't touch the guy.
No, don't do that.
But at the same time,
Get in his ear.
hound him as much as you want.
Yeah, I think we get enough people up there. I think you could basically just make it to where he can't even do his show. I mean, I think it'd be hilarious. Just
that would be
making
awesome.
a bunch of racket in the background.
So this brings me to my question. If Matt Jones and the KSR crew are allowing him to do his show there, maybe Kentucky Sports Network and maybe or Kentucky Prime Sports Network and hopes to show up there every now and again. Just saying.
Just
Just
throwing it out
saying.
there.
Matt Jones, if you're listening to this, we're open to it.
Yeah, I mean, we would come up. We could set something up between our guys.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, obviously the takes that this John Neighbors guy's had this year have been insane.
Yeah.
Seems like he would be a good sport about all this, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to play that role anyway in that position, so.
Yeah.
The guy kind of seems like a dick to me, low-key, but I think he's just playing the victim role on it and nice guy now, kind of, because he's eating his words,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane though. Since Arkansas has started in the conference so bad, how much Arkansas stuff I'm seeing on my Twitter feed, feed. Arkansas fans think that Mark Pope brought his entire team from BYU.
Yeah.
And Cal started at Arkansas with nothing.
Yeah.
Do they not forget that every recruit that Kentucky had, every player Kentucky had, he took with him, except the one he lost to Georgia.
Yeah.
In Samoto Surreal.
Yeah, I mean, he did leave us Walker Horn. Walker.
That.
Oh, yeah.
But, Boogie Flan, Billy Richmond, DJ Wagner, Dufiero, Big Z, those all were
Carter
Kentucky.
Knox.
Yeah, Carter Knox. Carter Knox. I'm really glad this all happened the way it did.
Yeah, it really couldn't have been more perfect, honestly.
Carter Knox is terrible.
Yeah.
Billy Richmond is terrible. The only one I'm sad about missing out on is Boogie Flan.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have worked this year with Cal.
No, it
would
wouldn't
have
have.
been terrible. But, yeah. And Mark Pope, the only player he brought from BYU to Kentucky is Jackson Robinson.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, 2 of BYU's guys ended up down the road in Louisville.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to think, too, Calipari had a week longer than Mark Pope to build his offense, and he had a bigger head start with the players he took with him.
Yeah, I mean, his whole recruiting class was coming.
They were coming for Calipari. They were not coming for Kentucky.
Yeah, the only player he waited on in the portal was DJ Wagner.
Yeah.
You know, Duthiero announced pretty quickly that he was going to Arkansas.
Z did.
Big Z announced he was going to Arkansas. You know, DJ Wagner was the only guy he was really, you know, up in the air about. And I don't even know if it was that much up in the air. It's just, you know, we didn't know it as much as he did.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, you know, what Arkansas fans are really thinking. I feel for them, but I don't feel real bad.
I don't feel bad at all for them.
No,
I get what they're going through, but I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good for them.
Good for them. It teaches character.
Yeah, it builds character.
It builds character.
You know, drive,
Yeah.
persistence, patience,
Disappointment. You learn how to deal with disappointment.
pain, agony, defeat, loss.
Oakland.
St. Peter's. God, could you? Okay, I'm gonna ask a question here talking about St. Peter's. How do you guys think Oscar Sheboy would do on this team right now?
I don't think he fits Pope's offense. You know, he's not much. He wasn't a guy that could spread the floor and step out and hit a big shot at the 3-point line. He was more just a paint guy.
Yeah.
And that's not really. Pope needs one guy to do that, and it's Amari Williams. Williams is a lot bigger than Sheboy. I just don't think he could have fit in Pope's offense.
I think he could have came off the bench and hey, you could have him taking Garrison's minutes, and you'd probably that'd be an upgrade in that specific position just because of rebounding alone.
Yeah.
But do you think Oscar would be okay with coming off the bench?
He's too good to come off the bench, so no. But he's not better than Amari in this offense.
Right.
What do you think, Gib?
I think you all hit all the talking points are there. I really don't have anything else to add on that.
Yeah, I understand. You know, he wouldn't fit in the system. But God, could you imagine having somebody down there that could bang out 20 and 20 a night? And then because at some point you're going to have to, you know, as we've seen, you're going to have to double and triple team Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar gets double teamed. He kicks it out to Kobe Brea, kicks it out to Jackson Robinson, kicks it out to Otega Oweh. He comes in, dunks on all 4 of them. Oh my gosh!
And who's to say he doesn't fit in the offense? I mean, we never really
And I could,
so he might fit just.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, we only seen him in whatever
dribble
offense.
drive.
Yeah.
Archaic dribble drive offense.
Yeah, and I mean a dribble drive with Severe Wheeler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have had a better point guard playing with him.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we kind of wrapped up all of our basketball. Gib, what do we got on the Mississippi State Ole Miss front, real quick, before we move into our next point?
All right, well, I got to look this back up again. But I do have a question while I'm looking this up.
Let's hear it.
What do you want to see coming from this week off? We have, solid week until our next game of Vandy.
I'd like to see our guys get healthy. I know Carr's been battling some back issues. Lamont Butler's banged up all over the place. Yeah. I'd like to see us get healthy, get rehabilitated, get back out there at 100%.
Yeah, I would like to see that as well. And another thing I'd like to see, and it's gotten a lot better out of Jackson Robinson. He's not playing with the thought of, hey, if I miss my first 2 shots, it's not happening for me. His confidence, it's just really grew in the last probably week and a half, 2 weeks. And Kobe Brea doesn't have a confidence problem, but I would like to see, maybe work on if you're getting locked down like you were tonight or earlier this afternoon, getting him open for better shots. Because, if you have 2 guys that are as good at 3-point shooters as those two guys are, if they both get shooting hot,
there's no stopping them.
There's no team in the country that can hang with
no way.
The Kentucky Wildcats team where Jackson Robinson and Kobe Brea are both, knocking down threes.
Shooters got to shoot. That's what Robinson needs to realize. Just because you miss your first 2 or 3 does not mean you should stop shooting.
Yeah. I think, big thing just working on is just, keep on perfecting the game plan. We've got a nice stretch of SEC games coming up, good opportunities to get wins on the road and at home, and just keep perfecting the game plan, keep working at the mission. All right, we're at 81-79, Mississippi State's up 29 seconds. Refs are at the monitor looking at something. Of course they are, right? It's the
Another
SEC.
monitor review.
God forbid we leave the monitor out of a game for 20 seconds. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this. Moving into our next point of topic, Kentucky football.
Back to Kentucky football.
And we're moving on from our next topic.
Not a lot of news on the football front. You know, it is January. The transfer portal is
Closed.
officially closed, but
Closed.
are we still waiting on one guy potentially?
uh,
What was his name? I don't even remember.
I don't think there is. There somebody else?
There was one other guy, but I never heard anything. I don't even remember what his name was, so it's probably not best to even speak about it. But transfer portal is officially closed. How do we feel about the grade? What kind of grade would we give Mark Stoops and company on this transfer portal class? Additions and losses.
If I had to guess, I'd probably say B minus.
Yeah.
B minus. You know, he's in recent years he's gone out and got like second and third string guys from these big time schools like Chip Trayanum, Ohio State, guys like that.
Yeah.
Hasn't really worked out for us, so he's kind of transitioned to getting the top guys from these smaller schools, and maybe that's the key that we were missing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I would give it a B minus, somewhere in there. I think, all things considered, the staff did a good job at replacing the losses. The wide receiver room got decimated.
That Dane Key loss really hurt us.
Yeah. But I feel like, we went back. I don't know production, what we're going to get, but we got volume.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
They did a lot better, like you said, on the offensive line, getting guys from,
Bowling Green, places like that.
Bowling Green, Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
You get the kid out of Arkansas that started in the SEC for a couple years. I think they really prioritized starting experience over potential star power.
Yeah.
But, well, before we get into that, Tyler, what do you think? What would your grade be?
I'd probably give it in that B minus, B plus range, but the problem with that, I don't know with what we lost if a B minus is good enough to get bowl eligible.
Yeah.
But they've done okay. It's just gonna be like we deal with every year. How good is the quarterback?
Yeah. What do you think, Gibb?
I would say I was teetering on a C plus B minus, just right in there. It's impressive. We kind of see this happen every year, every couple of years. We start pulling guys that probably shouldn't have pulled, and based off our previous seasons, but it gives just enough hope to where it's like we could be good again.
Yeah.
But then our heart's gonna be broken, just all over again.
Yeah, we're gonna feel pain, and that was kind of what I was gonna lead into. I think they did a good job with this transfer class. I really do. I just don't know if it matters. As bad as that is to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will see, that work itself out on the field. Because, the schedule next year, we've talked about it a lot, is brutal. The SEC football, it is what it is. It's going to be hard. I just don't know if, 6 wins isn't enough.
No. Even at Kentucky football, we're not expected to win national championships every year.
No.
But we should have, a higher standard set for ourselves. We should be expecting bowl games every year.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You get to 6-6 next year. You go in, you win a bowl, lose a bowl. What do those 6 losses that you took look like?
Are you losing to Georgia and Tennessee and
Yes.
Those guys, or are you losing to Vanderbilt and whoever else was South Carolina?
They really have to get back on track, beating the teams that we have beat for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
If you lose another game to South Carolina, now you're 1 under.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do something to get that back. You can't bank on beating Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss again.
No.
You can't think you're going to beat Tennessee. You can't think you're going to beat Georgia. You're not going to beat Texas. You have to beat those teams, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Florida, and I just don't know. I don't know if Mark Stoops can do it. I don't know. It's nothing against this transfer portal class. I'm sure they're all going to be great guys, great athletes, but has his ship sailed, kind of like with Calipari?
When push comes to shove, you just gotta go out there and win games.
Yeah.
That's what's going to speak volumes. Is can you win games?
Yep. I think, and you all kind of put your insight in on this as well, or input. I think one of two things are going to happen next year. We're going to be absolute terrible again, 4 or 5 wins, or we're going to win 9 games. I'm not going to say we're going to win 9 games, but we do well, and then Stoops leaves either way. Would you rather him leave off of that, 4-win season, or would you rather him get to 9 wins, maybe 10 in a bowl game, and be like, see, I told you I could do it, now kiss my ass?
For the sake of the program, I would rather he win 9 or 10 games than leave, because that helps with future recruiting.
Yeah.
See, at the same time, I would almost say the 4-win season would help with a new coach getting guys to recommit and
we're not going to
re-engage.
Yeah,
like hey, this is a new era. Not this is our best season we're gonna have probably for the next 5 years. Good luck, new coach.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna immediately get killed out of Lex. I think the 4 or 5 win season
kind of cushions the blow.
It kind of just walks him out the door and invites new people, new coaches to come in and be like, all right, I can turn this program around.
Yeah. What do you think, Tyler? You're a little more in touch with the football side than the rest of us. Would you rather see a 9 or 10 win Mark Stoops and then, hey, told you I could do it, see you later? Or would you rather see 4 wins and, hey, we tried our best, but now I'm going to ride off into the sunset?
No, you're never going to hear me say that I want Kentucky to win 4 football games. I'll take 9 and 10. I don't care who's coaching at that point, if I got the option. I think Mitch Barnhart is a lot smarter than people give him credit for, I think. And
for sure. Yeah.
I think this year there were probably conversations had, in my opinion, with somebody, whether it be John Summerall or whatever the case. I found it very odd that Summerall stayed at Tulane with the opportunities he had. So just my gut, no scoop or anything like that, but I think that there was a conversation possibly had with Summerall, and that's could be why he stayed at Tulane. Just Stoops, maybe already made it well known. Next year's it for me, regardless. And timing kind of adds up on that. He's been here forever.
Yeah.
So.
We know Mark Stoops is a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
We know him and Mitch Barnhart have a good relationship. John Summerall was on the UK staff. They assume they have a good relationship as well. And I wouldn't put it past them for all 3 of these guys coming in, having a meeting, and saying, hey, I want to be on my way out. I'm ready to get out of coaching. You have done great things at Tulane and Troy. We're ready to bring you in. How does next year sound? We want to give it one final go.
Yeah.
And then bring you into a new, fresh start.
Well, there's no, when you do it like that, I think that happens a lot more than people think, and I think that's how good programs handle it.
Yeah.
Because if you just Stoop rips the Band-Aid this year and Summerall, you're leaving 2 programs in kind of travesty there in a quick minute versus, being planned and kind of build a little bit of a foundation and be ready for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as much as people like to hate on Mark Stoops, I think if this Kentucky football program going forward, if something like that was to happen, if your new coach comes in and has the backing of Mark Stoops, I think that's going to really, help the fan base a lot. I think it's going to help, recruiting a lot. Not necessarily keeping that, cohesion because you are separating from that time in your life, but kind of like what Mark Pope has done with Rick Pitino. Had that not all gone on for Pitino going to Louisville and all that, if we would have had a smooth transition, I think that would have been beneficial for the people involved as well as the program.
Yeah.
I think that's something you can see out of Kentucky football with Mitch Barnhart, Mark Stoops, and a potential John Summerall or whoever the coach would be.
Like you said, you want a smooth transition to that process. You don't want it to end badly, like kind of how it did with Cal. He just kind of abruptly left and went to Arkansas. You want that smooth transition for all parties.
Yeah, and are we seeing the adverse effects of a non-smooth transition down in Arkansas? I think Kentucky, we got lucky this year.
We did.
Very lucky.
We could have been in a very bad spot. We could have easily been swapping, schedules with Arkansas. Us going 11-7. Things have worked out in our favor, but maybe you're seeing the potential side effects of that. Quick leave, get in, get out.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap up the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast for the night. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Gib, hit us with that score real quick.
There's 4.4 seconds left. Mississippi State 84, Ole Miss 79.
That sounds like game, right?
I
That's
mean,
ball
Ole
game.
Miss did drive it in. They got fouled. It looked like it may get it upgraded to something excessive, but probably going to take a miracle.
Probably going to take a miracle. What are they doing right now? Are we at the monitor?
Oh, of course.
Oh, my God. 30 seconds of basketball time in the SEC is 5 minutes in real life.
That's
Maybe
if you're
even
lucky.
10,
I would
yeah.
say that's if you're lucky.
They got to do something about these reviews these officials are
They
doing.
did upgrade it to excessive.
They did?
Also,
Yeah.
it's a flagrant.
Yeah, so he's
Oh, wow.
solo at the line.
Okay, so I'll take that back. We'll stay on the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast until the end of Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Currently Ole Miss, undefeated in the SEC.
Is that 2 shots and the ball?
2 shots and ball
Two
back.
shots and the
So
ball.
We might be going to double OT if they can pull it out. That'd be amazing.
If we go to double overtime, we'll end the podcast. But if it's a game, that's whenever we'll keep on until we get to the end of this game, unless it goes to double overtime.
he made them both. We got 84-81. 4.4 seconds left. Ole Miss has the ball.
84-81. So they have to have a 3.
They got a
Need a
3 to
three.
tie.
Need a 3 to tie. Crazy things
Miracle
have happened.
4-point play?
You get a 3, get fouled. They like to call the fouls these days on the threes. You got to give the shooter a place to land. What do we got?
Inbound the ball as we speak.
Inbound.
Oh, got knocked out.
He got knocked out by Mississippi State. 3.3 seconds
Corner
left.
3 was lining up, too.
Oh, man.
Seems like Ole Miss was rushed in that inbounds play.
I'll take another look at it.
No, they're not.
No, I
I
think
think we're taking a timeout just so coaches can drop a play.
Taking a timeout.
I can't tell what's going on. They are
Oh,
going to
the
the freaking
monitor.
monitor.
Oh, my God. Okay, I'll take that back. We're
Guys,
going
y'all have a good night.
Yeah, this has been the Kentucky Prime Sports Podcast. We appreciate everybody listening. Signing off is Devin Hood, Gib, Burke, and Tyler. We'll see y'all next week.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.